And we're back. Hey, everybody. Uncle Bruce here. How you doing? Welcome back to Stock Markets with Bruce for the afternoon session. We've got 1 hour to go before we close on the day, and we'll then stick around for an hour to see what happens in the aftermarket today. What is going to happen here? We have had not a lot going on since I left you. The GameStop shares are down 12.25 right now to 161.34. They actually touched a low of 159.66 for the briefest of moments and pop back over 160. The question going forward now in this last hour, are we going to have a market stay flat for GameStop? Is it just going to stay flat and then drop off at the end, or are we having a bit of a recovery rally? Down 1267. We're not down enough to not be to go into the short sale restriction mode. A 10% drop from yesterday's close, Friday's close, has to happen, and that has got to bring us down to the 156 range, something in that neighborhood. That would bring the stock low enough to then be put onto the short sale restriction list for the rest of the day today and all day tomorrow. But the stock hasn't been that bad off. It is off 7%. Yeah, let's say. There was an article that came out about an hour and a half ago, maybe 2 hours ago. Some kind of an article came out talking about the opinion. In the opinion of the writer, you don't want to hold this stock right now. You want to get out of it. The opinion of the holder was $50 to $75 was kind of the neighborhood where they would be comfortable with. Well, we all have hopes, dreams, and aspirations. Some of us are comfortable in the 300 to 400 range, and some of us are comfortable in the 1,000 range. Others want a lower number. I understand that everyone has their point they want to make, and we all have our reasons why. Where the shares should be, where they're going to be. But I don't know if that's the cause of the stock to drop off like it did. The volume is just minuscule. I mean, 4.5 million shares traded on GameStop all day today. There's nothing going on, even with the company making two announcements this morning regarding their having officially paid off their long-term debt. That's no longer in the mix anymore. $216 million paid off in full, 10% interest rate, no more on the books. Good. We know they have over $900 million cash now, practically $1 billion in cash. And then the second announcement, which I think just solidifies the thinking about where this company is going. It just confirms it. They've just announced they've acquired a fulfillment center in York, Pennsylvania, which is smack dab in the middle between Washington, Philly, Baltimore, New York City, Newark, Pittsburgh, and over here Cincinnati, and all these other areas. You're talking about the Northeast. It's the perfect place to put a warehouse for the Northeast part of the country. This is for e-commerce. That's the only reason you're putting a fulfillment center in York, Pennsylvania, is because you're dramatically improving the handling of e-commerce merchandise. And the company has been now for several months, and a number of you have mentioned this to me from time to time. You've mentioned this to me, where you've gone onto the website itself and you're finding all kinds of additional merchandise for sale that you haven't seen before on the GameStop websites. The GameStop website is expanding dramatically with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of more items for sale, telling me, yeah, these guys need to set up these additional fulfillment centers to handle this huge increase in the amount of products they're going to sell, because the stores, as you remember them, these small little shops, I mean, I usually would notice a GameStop store be 600 to 800 feet in size in a shopping mall. There's no way you can put in a store of that size, 500 or 800 or 1,200 different items. It's physically impossible to squeeze that much stuff in there. You'd have to have 15 staff members, all experts in their different areas, to be able to service the customers and give them information on what they're selling. But doing it on the web, you can have 10,000 items for sale on the website. Offer a easy to find system on the website for people to figure out what it is they want to get. You're on your way. Also, of course, if you're going to do a Google search down the road for a certain part of your computer or whatever, a certain accessory for a video game, console or what have you, you're just going to do a Google search, and the Google search will lead you to results, one of which will likely be the GameStop's website, where they have that item you're looking for. They've got that, and then you click on that, and you're right into the GameStop website, where you're being shown all kinds of other stuff, obviously, and you may come out of there with just one purchase. You might come out of there with 4 or 5 items that you've purchased, because they're going to talk to you about the fact that we can deliver 24, 48-hour delivery turnaround time where you are. That might be the best turnaround time you're being offered, and that might intrigue you and convince you to buy from these guys. So anyway, that news came out today about the fulfillment center. I'm just giving you all the color commentary behind it, but the fulfillment center news is out, but it didn't move up the market all that much. It was higher this morning. The first hour and a half of the opening, the shares were actually in plus territory. They were trading in around the 174, 175 neighborhood. But just around 11 o'clock Eastern time, a sell wave came in, a premeditated absolute sell wave came in that just accelerated from 175 down to about 163. The stock popped back to 165, 66 almost, and then backed off to the 159, 60 something level for a brief moment. And we're now at 162.20 on a volume of under 5 million shares. We're just not getting a strong volume day today on GameStop. The total now 4.58 million. We might hit 5 million ish for the day if we get another 500,000 in. That's about it. 159.66 is the low. 162.32 right now is where we're trading at as I am here. Other stocks not doing well. How about AMC? 971 down 32 cents. Not good. The Dustin Arms is here. The Dustin Arms has become a member of the channel. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the gang. Hope you enjoy using the emojis. A whole bunch of folks are going to welcome you in here right now. So welcome to the channel. All of you are joining us. Get ready for a whole bunch of folks to welcome you to the channel when you join us. Thank you, everybody. AMC down to 970 now, down 33 cents. The low of the day, 961. That was around 11:30, 11:35 this morning. It has not come back much from there. We have not seen $10 a share since the first 10 minutes. Right after that mark, within about 10, 12 minutes, the stock immediately dropped to the 990 range and briefly got into just short of $10 and then just dropped off to 961. And we've been sitting between that level and 980 or so, more like 975 all afternoon. Not great. 26 million volume and too much selling coming in to overtake it. The Microvision down $1.47. It too has had a terrible day. It started in the 1550 range and immediately backed off in the first 30 minutes and just took a shot down. By 11:15 this morning, it was down to 1340. Now it's at 1378. It's not recovering, and it's traded 25 million shares. Even with that kind of volume, that kind of trading action, it's a down day, and it's like the fourth one in a row now. This stock has really given up the momentum, unfortunately. Welcome, Dusan. Fabulous. Thank you, all of you, for joining me and hanging around with me today. And what can I say? Joe Olivia says, GameStop drops 8% on positive news of no debt and opening a fulfillment center. Can you imagine how much it'll plummet when the CEO is announced and Robert Cohen implements an online strategy? I mean, it's a fire sale. What can I say? It's a bargain. It was a super steal at 159, whatever it was this morning for a brief moment in time. But like I say, right now, 162.01 on 4.5 million. Not a lot has really come in, but not a lot of buying has been created with this news either. And maybe that's telling. Maybe that's telling that, investors want more. Followers want more news other than this kind of news to get involved with. And perhaps what it is that a number of players out there are going, I'm waiting to find out who this CEO is. Show me who this is. We're kind of curious to see. In the meantime, Dustin is being welcomed by everybody. Welcome. Let's see. Here we go. Interesting. Bruce, my girlfriend is a vice president for Penguin Random House, and they have their Northeast warehouse 30 minutes away in Maryland. So there you go. This is an area where you want to have a warehouse for fulfillment. It's exactly this neighborhood. Very good. When the Dow gets down, the GME will go up. Well, the Dow is up 295, S&P up 20, the NASDAQ is down 41 points. GameStop 162.34 right now is where she is at. Is she going to mount a little recovery here back to the 165.70 range? It's certainly capable of it, but we'll see how this moves along. All right, what else is going on here? Are those sesame seeds on your brand new T-shirt right there? Why, yes, they are. There's definitely sesame seeds on this T-shirt. This T-shirt says "Bagel Time with Uncle Bruce." Pretty cool, nice little color, green color. Guy picked up a few of these T-shirts the other day on my own site, my own RedBubble store, and of course I got this coffee mug going right now. The stock marker says Uncle Bruce coffee mug. Right on. Cheers to all of you. Thank you for all your support, picking up items, my licensed items on RedBubble. It's great. Well, let's see. Any other comments I need to go through here? Let's just take a look here. My company does shipping and warehousing out of Baltimore. I like that color. Thank you. Let's see. It's all about the details. I love that T-shirt. The T-shirt design is nice. Do I need to get a tuxedo for the cruise? Not necessarily. Generally, nowadays, cruise lines nowadays have kind of done away with these formal nights where it was mandatory you were all dressed up. Now, of course, you ever watch episodes of the Love Boat? You saw the gentleman almost every night in a tuxedo and tails kind of thing. Well, maybe not tails, but tuxedo. Those days are gone. Even up until about 10 years ago, there might have been like a formal night in the dining room, one night or two nights in a 7-day cruise, maybe. And even there, you didn't need to wear a tuxedo. A suit and jacket was fine. Like a jacket and tie was great. The last time I was subjected to any kind of a formal night was back in 2008. Jennifer and I went on a cruise on the Holland America Oosterdam with another couple that we knew. They were in one cabin at the front of the ship. We were at the cabin at the back. They had a balcony. We had a balcony. And then we would meet every night for dinner. And it was great. Every night, same table in the main dining room. And for one night, they had a formal night there. Most of the time, I would show up in the dining room. I would be wearing a jacket with just a polo shirt and with khaki slacks, and it was great. But formal night, I put on a white shirt with a tie and my jacket. That was it. That's all I needed to put on. But had we not wanted to be participating in formal night, and Jennifer and I have been on cruises where they've had formal nights, and we're just not into it. I just head for the buffet that night. I'm just doing the buffet thing. Or you can go to one of the specialty restaurants where it's not a formal night. It might only be formal night in the main dining room. That might be one of those scenarios. And even that now is sort of backing off more and more. Where folks who want to be on a cruise, they're not actually interested in getting all dolled up every night to go out for dinner. But remember, back in the 80s and the 70s, cruise ships didn't have all the amenities they have now. And the evening's dinner was a highlight of the day, and would not be uncommon to be in the main dining room for 2.5 hours for a full-blown evening with 6-course dinner and music playing and all that. But those days are gone. No more. All righty. Is this shirt the reason for the sesame bagel this morning? Is that it, or is it the other way around? It's a sesame bagel, the reason for this shirt. GameStop was negative beta, which means it's inverse of overall market trends, 162.50. I think it just has to go up. Cheers, says Olivia. Colin ships of all of this Afro wigs out of Baltimore. Colin ships all of his Afro wigs out of Baltimore. Okay. Don't forget to give Bruce the thumbs ups. Thank you, everybody. The Love Boat. You can't keep Kevin from bringing his tux on a cruise. And hey, you can bring him all you want. It's all right. Can we do a black tie, though? Could we do a black tie thing at Bruce's cruise? That would be something. I'll have to think about that. Is that a blob of grape jelly on the bee? Is that what that's what that is? Yeah, that's right there. Yeah, that's a little blob of grape jelly on the bagel. That's right. Just the tie. That's all you need. Don't worry anything else. Generally, most of the cruise lines allow sport cord in lieu of formal and ties. Even if they have one formal night, a tux is not mandatory any longer. Used to be you could rent a tux on board a cruise ship. You could rent a tux on the ship from the men's clothing store. I'm not even sure if you can do that anymore. That is so phasing out quickly. Kirk, looking at my upcoming MSC Divina cruise, it looks like one formal night, tux for guys, and evening gown for women. Very cool. OCGN is up 23%. Congratulations. Nick, I can't imagine Bruce eating anything other than bagels. I just can't do it. I can't imagine Bruce eating other than bagels. I've never wanted to go on a cruise before watching Bruce. Buy and hold, no hammock. No, not warm enough for hammock today. I ain't touching the cruise buffet until the last COVID case is done and done with a year of space. Laugh out loud. I don't want to have any botulism or anything else. Well, you don't get COVID from the buffet. That's not where you get the COVID. You get COVID from human beings. That's where you get the COVID from. You don't get it from food. Jen, getting off the boat 5 pounds heavier. Yikes. Yes, that does happen after a week. You kind of leave a little thicker. But you're happier. I went on Keeping the Blues Alive cruise with Joe Bonamassa last February. Had a blast. It must have been a good time. Those are good cruises. Observed myself, Nick, he'll have bagels on pheasant, please. Still fun to bring out the penguin suit. Fun time. Wally laughing and saying hi. Observe a lot of bagels under glass. CT, yep, you could rent. And then they even had Ruffles laughing out loud. Hello, Wally's World. Brucey, I love you, but I'm driving. Well, love you too. Observe thyself smiling. KT1 Love Boat was great. I also loved the Poseidon Adventure. I remember both of them. They had the two. They did the remake, but the first one was a huge hit. Massive hit. Big money maker. Waffle, I haven't even looked how GameStop is doing. 163.23, 163.44, inching up a little bit right now. Colin, I would like to request it be minimum tie, pants of some type. 163.44 right now. We're going up, doing okay. My cost average for GameStop was 281 on March 12th. It's currently at 162. I am winning this fight, and I'm a believer in the upside. There you go. There you have it, Wolf or Raptor Flat. You get the COVID from people coughing on the buffet. Well, you get people who are coughing in the air. You breathe in the particulates. That's the way it works, but I'm not here to talk about COVID. How can the hedges be shorting shares when there's no available shares to short according to Fintel? I ask the same question all the time. How is that possible? That's Kurt Clash. When GameStop moons, we should all book out the whole cruise and chip in for Bruce and Jen. There you go. 163.77, guys. We're approaching $164. Will it continue to move up? Let's see. Nice work, Ashley. Yeah, I thought so. Thanks, amigo, says Waffle. Ashley, nice work. Good feeling. Okay, Christian. Bruce, I've seen a lot of positive first quarter earnings in many companies, but the stock price hasn't gone up. Are hedgies prepared for every quarter earnings to lower the price? No, they're not. Hedge funds are like you and me. Most hedge funds like to buy stock low and sell them high. That's what most hedge funds like to do. Hedge funds like to reduce their risk. They like to have minimal risks, and so they will buy stock, and then they'll buy put contracts, perhaps protect themselves against short-term massive swings. They might be long stock that comes up with an earnings report this week, and they might buy some put contracts before the earnings contracts announcements are announced. And the contracts are for this Friday or next Friday, very short term, and they might be just a little out of the money, and they're very cheap to buy, and it's like insurance. And if the stock takes a dramatic drop, the put contracts are cashed in for a gain to offset the temporary loss in value, and then they ride the stock back. There are hedge funds that are long-term investors. There are hedge funds that are short-term investors and medium-term investors. And yes, there are hedge funds that like to short stock, but not all of them do it. There's a few hedge funds that really specialize in shorting stock, and some of them play the game by the hour, like literally in and out within an hour, or out and in. There are others who will short positions for years. There are all kinds of them. Hedge funds are not the enemy. Hedge funds are just part of the market. They're actually just part of the market. And hedge funds add a lot of liquidity to markets because of the amount of capital that they put into the game. But Most hedge funds are just like you and I. They like to buy low and sell higher. That's how they run because they have limited loss potential. You can only lose the money they put into the stock. If you short a stock, you have unlimited loss potential to the moon if the stock takes off on you. So hedge funds generally don't like to be in that kind of position unless they are specialists in hedge shorting stock. And again, they will find ways to protect themselves. So don't think that hedge funds are the enemy or they're against you. There are probably just as many hedge funds who are long GameStop or go long GameStop as there are short and shorting GameStop. It's a back and forth game all the time. Christian saying hello. Ashley's throwing up the diamonds. Wizard is saying, hey, how you doing? Hi, and my cruise manager, CT, says, my cruise manager at Carnival told me that they will not have more than 40% occupancy for a while once the CDC lets them resume in the States. I agree with that. I believe that's true. Poseidon Adventure was Towering versus Towering Inferno. Which one? Yeah, those were, the Towering Inferno had more victims. Well, they had just as many victims, I should say. I should put it this way. The Towering Inferno had more people on camera because they were filming this so-called disaster on the penthouse floor of this fancy place that was burning up below them, where the ship, within about 20 minutes, 30 minutes of the disaster on the Poseidon, you were down to about 10 actors who were left slowly. Then there were 9, then there were 8, then there were 7 as they were trying to get their way out. And I'll tell you that those two movies made a lot of money. There's no question. But back in the day, they were from the 70s, obviously. Actually, 163.26 for Power Hour, 163.93 right now on GameStop shares. What are they going to do? Call on your hair, bagels. What's that? Bagel undies. Oh no, not bagel undies. Let's see. In the afternoon, it's the afternoon look right now. What's going on? You get COVID from the he, she in the Thailand ports. You get colon from the he, she's in the Thailand ports. Okay. Hello from London. Hello from London. How you doing, London? Where are we at now? 163.70 right now in the stock. The Dow is up 271. John Van, 1100 watching you. Only 240 thumbs ups. Let's go for a launch, please. Waffle Raptor saying hello. 163.70 on GameStop right now. 163.58, and the volume is, let's see, is it approaching 5 million now? 4.7 million. That's all we have right now. All right. Bruce, you will need to make an entrance on this cruise. Arrive by helicopter. Jen can wear a pilot's helmet, incognito, maybe we have to figure out a way to make this. Jen's kind of chortling over here. Things is kind of funny. We've been talking about all kinds of stuff. What I was thinking about was to have like 100 gens on stage. We'd get 100 gens on stage, and you'd have to pick out who's the real gen, and we'd weed it down. We'd have all kinds of fun. Colin, we're supposed to buy low, sell high. Pretty sure I've been doing it all wrong. Bro, I just want to break 200. 163.20, 163.26 right now. I missed the 200s. I feel a massive movement coming, and for GameStop as well. Oh no. Me too, said Olivia. I want 180. I missed 300s. Ew, says Colin. What behind 180? What's going on? Mr. Mobile Vortex has joined us as a brand new member of this channel. What's 2 in the first 20 minutes of the show? Fantastic. Welcome, Mr. Vortex, new member. They're coming in and get to use those emojis and comment with us. Nice to have you here tonight. This is great. Who else is what's going on here? Buy and hold says, I think once we pass 200, it's just going to take off. What do we got here? Welcome, Mr. Mobile Vortex. Yay. So do I. I don't think they're going to be able to keep GameStop down much longer. She feels ready to pop here. Welcome, Mr. Mobile. Bruce, did you get any? Did you get my postcard? How often do you check your mail? Happy Monday, big guy.
It takes a while to get here.
Yes, they do take a while to get here. They can take 2 to 4 weeks to get here sometimes. It is the most uncommon, goofy thing. But I'll keep an eye open for Super Scroller. Definitely keep an eye on that. I think so too. Buy and hold. Derek, I can't believe we didn't touch 180 today. Welcome, Mr. Mobile from Lando Butter. Bruce, why is Warren Buffett so adamant that SPACs are bad? Because he's just generalizing. He's generalizing. Everyone's generalizing. If you ever watch these reports on TV, and I know you do, you hear them talk about SPACs, and they just classify SPACs in one big basket and just call them all bad. That's it. That's all they do. They're not looking at individual deals. They're not breaking anything down. Do you notice that they never talk about the best performing SPACs? Have you ever noticed that? They never, ever talk about the SPACs that have done the best in the last 2 years. They never talk about it. They only talk about the spectacular blowout SPACs, the ones that went way too high too fast before they even announced a deal, came back down, and they call those the disasters. That's it. It's a one-sided report. Every time they bring them out, they do them several times a day, and they don't talk about the merits of any of these deals. And then they go to Warren Buffett and ask him a generic question about SPACs, which he has no right to talk about because he doesn't do anything with SPACs. He never has. He never will. He's not a specialist in the area. And he gives his opinion, and everybody covers it like it's gospel, and like whatever Warren says about SPACs has got to be right, like as if he knows. I mean, give me a break. I do see occasional reports where they'll talk about, they'll talk about the SPAC story, and it'll all be negative. And then as they get into the story, they have to actually talk about more than just the headline. And then they get into the minutia, the details, and they kind of hint at, well, some SPACs do well when paired with the right private company and with the right financing. And I'm going, yeah, that's where we are. Hello, that's where we are. We're here. We're following SPACs that are incredibly well funded, have got a ton of cash waiting to come in, companies that are on a roll, but they don't talk about it. And so it's okay. Don't talk about it. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Why don't you cover the 6 or 7 or 8 SPACs that I'm watching, all the SPACs that we're watching? Why don't you guys can cover those companies after the merger's done, after they change their name, after they change their symbol, after they've got the money in the treasury, after the companies start making their announcements. Then you can cover those companies because they're no longer SPACs anymore. They're now just regular companies. Now you can cover Matterport and cover SoFi and cover 23andMe and talk about how great these companies are, the kind of cash flow they're generating, the deals they're making. Perfect. You won't have to cover them. Don't call them a SPAC. It's okay. We won't mind. We don't mind. If they go to 40, 50, 80 bucks, 100 bucks a share, 150 bucks a share, 200 bucks a share, I won't mind if you don't refer to them as a SPAC. It's okay. It's fine. I'm okay with that. It's all good. Hedge funds are whatever they are. Welcome, Mr. Mobile. Welcome, Mr. Mobile. Welcome, Mr. Mobile. Derek Johnson, once we break 180 and keep it there, then it's smooth sailing from there. Okay, 163.35, 163.50. Thank you all, says Mr. Mobile. Love to be welcome. Lando Butter, I'm only one who sees Pikachu when somebody comments. I don't know what that means. American man, I could have kept sleeping until I had to work. Prince Harry's holding the line. Is the stocks being low a good sign? Is this a good sign that the stock's being? Well, it's just a sign of the times. It's a sign of today. Today the stock is 163.50. That's where it is. Don't take it personally. It's just 163.50. That's it. It'll move from here. Oh, I can guarantee it'll move from here. I don't know what direction though. I know where I want it to go. I know where I want the stock to get to. I know the kind of news that will get the stock to where I want it to go. But I also know we're going to have to wait for it to come out. So here we are. Welcome to the show. 5 more for me, 5 less for the shorties. There you go. Oh my God, Shelley Winters was the best in Poseidon Adventure. Yeah. I think that the Towering Inferno was a quite they had a lot of wacky effects, but still it was an interesting show. 2 interesting movies, but I will say I think I like the Poseidon Adventure more than the other one. They are the enemy. Laugh out loud, says Chris Wayne. The hedge funds are the enemy. Texas stopped in to give you my thumbs up, but I gotta go. I have a great rest of the day. Good to see you, buddy. Thank you for being here. Have a good one yourself. 163.41 on GameStop now. Ashley, I watched Soylent Green Omega Man this week. Earthquake is next. Right on. Laughing out loud, says John. William, volume 4.6 million. Everybody must be selling. Well, you can't have volume without buyers. You got to have someone on the other side of the trade to make a trade. So 4.6 million means buyers and sellers agreed to switch hands with 4.6 million. Money in stock changed hands. 4.6 million shares worth today. That's what it means. Texas, hey, baby. Hey, when in Thailand, always remember no same. Oh, my God. Jake, Christina Spy, I think most of the negative views on SPACs are looking at them before they announce a merger. After a merger is announced, you'll be betting on the company, and that's not a blind investment. That's true. That's exactly what that is. American William, I mean, who would hold through such a major dip as $10? I love it when they sell and it goes up. Charlie Munger had some really nasty words for Robinhood, etc., during his journal press conference. I just don't get the impression that Charlie Munger is a nice, easygoing kind of guy. Do you get that impression about that codgy old fella? You kind of get the impression that Charlie has always been kind of a grumpy little guy. Successful, yeah, but he's not your warm, huggable kind. I don't think you don't think you're going to get hugs from that guy, do you? I'll drink 100 gins. All right, Jen should arrive by jetpack. Now you go. Now on the cruise ship, she should arrive by jetpack. Bruce, have you ever had Billy Miner pie? Don't know what that is. With the way MSM is handling GameStop, may as well rename the company Bernie Sanders. See, there's nothing like drunk bingo when you're so trashed. You see the cards, but you only have one. You see three, and you only have one. Oh my, Bueller, CT, then you win and you can't stand up, laughing out loud. What's behind 180? Death? Bruce, how do you feel about Jurassic Park 3? Slow day in the markets today? I wonder, 164, someone saying. We're going to go to 164. I don't know, 163.35, 163.36. Let's go see what happens. Welcome, mobile. Giving money back now, says Van. Vaping with Vic. Warren Buffett is old school. It takes a while for him to change his mind. Well, he does change his mind from time to time. He has admitted that he's never perfect. He's never been perfect. He admits that. They are taking the bad SPACs and rounding up everyone and calling them bad instead of calling out the SPACs that are bad. Basically, just a generalization. There you go. I agree with that. I've heard what's wrong with the SPACs? They're under pressure. Biden's going to tax them into oblivion, and the SEC is going to change all the rules on the SPACs, and all this bad stuff's going to happen. It's not. No, there are companies who want to go public. And they're going to go public with a SPAC. There are 500 to choose from right now, or 300 or 200, whatever number are still looking for deals. There are a lot of private companies, and there's a lot of SPACs, and they will make mergers happen. And 5 years from now, we might be able to really review how it went. But right now, it's early days in the higher number of SPACs that are going public. Anyway, what can I say? Higher education with beans. Bruce, did you get a haircut? Love the new shirt, obligatory to the moon. I did get a haircut, and I have new T-shirts, and we had fun on Friday afternoon with a libation game, and it was insanity. P, Longstock, Butta, nee. Waffle Raptor, what are some past successful SPACs that come to mind to you? Well, the one that comes to mind for me is DraftKings. That one has been a very successful SPAC. It's trading around $58-$60, something like that. And they've done all kinds of business since. They've done secondary financings in the 40s and the 50s. They've done a bond offering at 0% interest, convertible into stock in the 80s or 90s. I mean, they've done really well. That's the big one in my mind that's come to mind. But 241 shares of IPOE on the dip today. Beautiful job. IPOE right now, 1642, down 58 cents, and Gores Holdings down 31 cents at 1236. Gores has come back from a low of 1221, but it's still down 31 cents. IPOE has not yet had a recovery. Will there be one? There usually is every day, but I don't know if there will be one. It was at 1620. It's now 1642. It's a little better, but not a lot. GameStop 162.98, AMC at 971, and Microvision down 137 to 1388. The New York market down 259. S&P up. The New York market, the Dow is up 259. S&P up 1492. Nasdaq is down 55.9. All right. Well, I tend to listen to Mr. Buffett. I mean, dude is an oracle after all. Derek, speaking of Warren Buffett, did you see he had Robinhood leader? They're going at it. I've heard that. Warren Buffett, who? Raptor, DraftKings. DraftKings is definitely one. Jen, I watched part of the Buffett and Munger presentation. The boy needs some nap time. Damn, that's a good one. They're letting him have it. Haha. Bruce, what vices do you indulge in on vacation that you hold back on a day-to-day life? Caffeine, soda, perhaps. I mean, what do you do, Bruce, to get yourself into trouble? Do you really, what's your dark side? What don't we know about you? What are your dark inner secrets? What do you fantasize about? What's your shoe size? What's your favorite color? Do you pick your nose or do you pick your friends? What is it with you, Bruce? We want to know. You haven't given me enough money. You just haven't given me enough money to know all these dirty secrets. And sorry, I could sell these secrets to Hollywood officials, to Hollywood aficionados, and they could make a movie. They could do a docu-series. I could sell my secrets to a ghostwriter for a book and get $1 million advance. Why should I tell you for nothing? Forget about it. Oh man, I think I'm going to have private eyes following me wherever I go. Whenever I get out of this house, people can try to dig up dirt on me all over the place. Unbelievable. Never ate at the Warren Buffet. Where is that? The Warren Buffet. Never heard of her. Seems to me that SPACs are better value than IPOs. I think they're less risky myself. Old men with old ideas. No offense, Bruce. Use a good boomer. I wouldn't inverse. What's that Warren Buffett with your investment strategies? Although I heard if you do whatever the opposite of Mr. Kramer, you can make billions. Prince, is it an all you can eat at the Warren Buffet? Oh man, I'm just here for the food. It's the third night on Princess 7-day cruise. I wore some SPACs once, but they were way too tight for me. Oh no, Bruce is a much younger boomer than that. Spectacles, something hedge funds and SPACs. God, does this Warren Buffett have seafood? Jim Cramer shines Warren Buffett shoes. Oh my gosh, you kids. Attendees, Jim Cramer wipes back the front. Oh no. What has Jim Cramer done to deserve this abuse today? He's done nothing wrong. It's all fine. What can I say? Oh my gosh. You know what Bruce does when he on his dark side? He switches to donuts when he wants to be bad. That's what he does. Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. Here we go. SPACs are bad, but Coinbase dropping $100 right after the IPO. That's good. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Coinbase going all the way down from $4.29 to $2.96. That's a solid investment for retail investors. But buying SPACs at $10 a share, you're just risking your life. Like, really? Oh my gosh. 162.30 on the GameStop. We have 23 minutes to go. I know he likes to put the wings. He likes to pluck wings off of flies. Bruce hosts key parties. And John Clancy. Yes, I spoke with Fidelity today. I spoke with Fidelity today. He tried to say it's going south. You have lost big money today. Your only hope is Microsoft bought GameStop. So think you want to hold, you're going broke. Okay. I don't know what that means. Magnifying glass and ants. Forbidden question for Bruce: traditional or boneless wings? BB, the better boomer bureau. Bruce, do you do exclusively SPACs for now besides GameStop? What else do you like? Have you not seen my stocks that I like? Have you not seen the list of the stocks that I like? Buffett should stick to singing. Jim Cramer got kicked out of Warren Buffett. Cramer ripped Buffett and Munger today. He definitely doesn't have their opinion on a lot of things. Okay. Wait, I just figured it out. Bruce's deepest, darkest secrets. Jim Cramer's his brother. Got the same haircut. Maybe that's it. Uncle Bruce, do you have any advice for choosing an index ETFs? I don't. Wizard, I was laughing loud. Have you ever tried smoked salmon on a bagel? Not on a bagel, but I have had smoked salmon. It's wonderful. Oh my gosh. My stocks that I like, they're right here. These are my favorite stocks. Stock picks that I've put out here. I don't think you can go wrong with these guys. Pretty good little group of companies here. Gores Holdings and Virgin Group Acquisition Corp, VGAC, GameStop, IBM, Microsoft, Intel, Home Depot, Cisco, Apple, Facebook, MU. What's MU? MU is computer. Micron. I'll get it. Micron, Vanik, Vectors, SMH, and then there's SVAC. These are all SPACs at the bottom here. FAII, VACQ, Nash, IPOE, FWAA. Those are some of my favorites. More than just SPACs. But you got to watch the show for more than 5 minutes to kind of get a handle on it, I guess. But it's all right. If you're busy, I get it. You haven't got time to watch me all the time. And what can I say? You catch up with me once a week for a minute. And it's all right. It's okay. I love it. Let's see. Leon, it's all good, Leon. I love you, buddy. Vanguard ETF. Why don't you like Dogecoin? I don't have to answer that question. I'm not under oath. Ever tried smoking salmon? Oh no, I'm high. I thought you said smoking salmon on a bagel. J Ray, afternoon, Bruce and gang. I had some work today, but I made it for the ending. Right on, J Ray. Welcome to the show. I love Locke's Bagels. Warren or Jimmy Better Buffet. Colin, smoked salmon equals Locke's. You see, who took my salmon cream cheese? Hey yo Ray. Let's see. Muchas mercies. Thank yous. I used to smoke salmon with a guy named Johnny Hopkins. Okay. Very, very cool. Bruce, any HR stories from your days as CEO personally before interviewing candidates? I print the resumes and mix them up. Then I throw half the pile in the trash and eliminate the unlucky people. Oh gosh. Oh man. Oh man. I remember in the brokerage days when I was managing my brokerage office, my operations manager and I, excuse me, we'd get together and we would review where we're at, and we would need to we'd put our heads together and go, okay, we need to hire another person in the cage in the back to help with clearing. And what we would do is we would talk to our staff and say, do you know anybody that we should hire? Anybody out there that's really good at their job and hates it where they are right now? Well, who doesn't know someone that hates it where they are? And we tell them, say, well, look, tell them that we're looking for a position, and ask them if they might want to, talk to us. Maybe they could send us a resume, give you a resume that you could bring in, And so we would do this. We'd start stealing. We just steal from other houses, and we'd steal from firms where they were miserable, just being abused or not appreciated, and then they come into our brokerage firm, and the attitude of the brokerage house that I tried to run was kind of like what it is here. It's kind of like an okay place to hang out with good people, and we appreciate a good, honest day's work, and we'd have Fridays we'd bring in a bunch of chocolates and donuts and just have all kinds of fun and lighten it up. We had one night we had the office. I invited the office out one night. The branch manager, I picked off something like we went to the horse races in Calgary. We went to the Stampede Park, and we went to a horse racing night. And everybody had a great time because the brokers brought their gals, the gals brought the guys from the rest of the office. And so everybody got together. So instead of just having a Christmas party once a year, we got together for like a May, a June time to hang out at the track. And you could come by and stick around as long as you wanted, leave whenever you wanted. There was no obligation. You didn't have to listen to a speech from the manager. None of that crap. And so we took over the clubhouse. We took over all the clubhouse seating, and we reserved like 20 tables for 2 people each or something like that. And it was a great time. We had a great time. And the office was buzzing about it for days afterwards. And, what would happen is friends would talk to friends, and they'd go, man, you work at a pretty good place. That sounds like a really good, we don't do that at our brokerage office, that kind of stuff. That's one of the ways that you have an easy time of attracting people. When the word is out that your firm is hiring, people apply to you. And then I would get envelopes all the time sent to me by couriers of resumes that would just come in, unsolicited resumes, where people write me a letter saying, I'm presently at so-and-so looking for a change. I hear your firm's is a great place to work. If you ever have an opening, let me know. Like we always had a list of people who wanted in, which is great. So that's the difference between firms on the rise and firms not. I guess I don't know. But what are you going to do? Anyway, there you go. I'm reading a lot of good coming for SoFi. Yeah, IPOE, kids. The IPOE story is going to be a juicy one when that deal goes down. When that merger is done later this month, look out. Gores Holdings, I'm hearing good things on it too. Can't wait, can't wait, can't wait. We're going to be busy, kids. I'm going to be so busy following these SPACs for you. I'm not going to have time like I have now to just hang out with you and talk to you about little things like my old days as a broker and a manager. 162.08 on GameStop, down 11.51. Come on, GameStop. What else is going on? Yes, Chris, smoked salmon with the cream cheese on the toasted sesame bagel would be divine. I don't doubt it. I don't doubt that. American, can I come and work for you? That sounds like my type of leadership. Fidelity, I must have smoked something other than salmon. I think I'll hold my 550 GameStop at $59. You just hang right in there, enjoy. When you smoke salmon, do you prefer filtered or unfiltered? So anyone just pick up GameStop confirmed on the 10-minute? Anyone just pick up GameStop confirmed on the 10-minute? Anyone know what that means? 15 minutes to go on the day. We're at 162.10. All right, Ashley, what did the toaster say to the slice of bread? I want you inside me. Oh, no. What did I miss? All kinds of bad jokes. That's what you missed. Oh, gosh. John, yeah, that dude is high on something. A $10 dip is hardly what I would call losing big money. Plus, I've had several interactions with Fidelity on the phone. Most reps are probably, and what is it, holders laughing out loud. All good hires come from recommendations. CVs are full of BS. There you go. Funny how this chat can cheer up in 5 minutes. What can I say? Let's see. The rep must have been on their first day. John Clancy, you should tell that rep he's going to get you sneezing, BC, because you're allergic to what. Rule 34, my toaster. Oh no. Most mainstream financial folks don't see the opportunity in GameStop. That is true. They don't want to see the opportunity. They are convinced it's a downer. I guess. I don't know. Ash, I don't care what you say about you. You're cool. You can stay. Oh, okay. The day will come when they get served a plate full of regret. There you have it. No cavities. Woohoo! Ryan, sounds like Bruce is describing the plot of Focus. Observe thyself. Yeah, that one. Even what? One even told you. I don't know what that means. Thanks. Let's see here. I got to skip over comments that don't make sense to me. I gotta get through these comments. What are you saying, folks? What can I say? Ashley says, being on the board of directors, I've heard, is typically a good day and a bad day. It can be the same day too. Made $11 million and had to lay off 5,000 people kind of days. That can happen. Mercury, John, I've tried telling many of my older friends with significant holdings in blue chips and the market to get out completely and reposition some into GameStop, but you just end up feeling like, whatever, Michael Burry, laugh out loud. What can I say? Let's see. Oh, Lord, I love this channel. The unlucky applicants made me burst out laughing. It's a good, it's as good a system as any. Wally's World, don't you think Buffett and Abel know Heinz Kraft CFO Yang Zhu will be on GameStop board come June? Berkshire owns 26% of Heinz Kraft. Maybe they're bitter about it. Maybe they're bitter that they're losing her and that she's walking away from that company that could have, down the road, she could have been higher up there. And they've stolen her. Maybe they're PO'd up at GameStop and they don't want to give GameStop any kudos. That could be it. Bruce, what's the most uncomfortable experience you've had firing somebody? The most uncomfortable experience firing somebody.
No, you have to explain to them. Like you're the king of fire.
Yeah, I'm kind of good at it.
He really is the king.
I
think every one of them has thanked you.
Yeah, people thank me when I fire them. Actually,
It's just unbelievable.
I've had people hug me when I fired them, saying thank you, because they realize you're doing the right thing. I haven't had to fire many. I've been very fortunate in that area. I've not had to fire many people. And the most firing I ever did was in the brokerage side, I guess. I've had to let a couple of brokers go, but they knew it was coming. They knew they were getting, pooped out because they were not delivering. They knew they were not delivering. They were not motivated. They were not doing well. I have met on the street months later, years later. I will bump into people. This is in the old days. This is way back when I bump into people that I fired, and they see me and they come up to me and they shake my hand, and it's all good. And they tell me what they're doing now and how much happier they are, and they admit that it just didn't work out. And I tell them, hey, I've had jobs where it didn't work out. It's just the way it is. It doesn't work out. You move on. It's okay. And so I've not had those. I've not had the scenario where I've had to let people go because I've had to fire, let's say, or lay off people because of a downturn. I've been lucky enough to be involved in business where even the brokerage firm I was with, it was growing. I made it grow. I made the branch get more productive, and we needed more people. So I was always on that track rather than I was in a brokerage firm that was on the decline, and we had to let go of people because it just wasn't, we couldn't afford them anymore. I've been very fortunate on that front, but that's true. I'm all right. Meet and greet at Hastings Racecourse. Now, see, there you go. Ashley smiling. Great point, says Wally. You guys always make me want to eat and invest. I think that's okay. See, there you go, Ashley. I love it when Bruce reads them. Haha, makes them so much funnier. The comments. Yes, I try to read. I mean, I'm flying through them here. I have sometimes no. Here's a bad toaster joke. Laughing out loud. The Wiz. I was hoping Bruce would read that. Now I want a Lox Bagel. I'm going to get one tomorrow. Oh, laughing out loud about that. Uncle Bruce, do these companies that are merging advertise the merger? I think about SoFi. They do. The public companies announce the merger, but then they shut the hell up because they have to shut the hell up. They're not allowed to talk now. They're in a quiet period, and they don't want to make any sudden moves. They want the lawyers. So their lawyers tell them to shut the hell up because the lawyers are saying you say anything out of context here, it could be mistaken for a material fact. And you don't want to get sued, do you? Because there are all these lawyers that are advertising that they're investigating you. You don't want to say it. So don't say anything. You've made your announcement. Shut the hell up. Let everything happen. We got to do our shareholder vote. We got to do the other company has to do the shareholder vote. We got to do all our filings. We got to do all our documentation. All our audits have to be done. You got nothing to talk about. You got nothing to say. There's no reason to talk. Keep quiet. And after the deal is done, talk all you want. But you'll be talking about the new company, and that's why it's kind of quiet. That's why SoFi is. You hear stuff about SoFi, but you don't hear anything about the public company, IPOE. You don't hear about those guys. You hear about SoFi. So there you go. Anyway, Cody. Hey, Bruce, the last time we had a lot of big hearings and meetings in the week, GameStop got suppressed pretty hard. They got brought up. Do you think this is because the news has to cover it more and need the negative print? Oh, well, maybe. Look, there's a congressional meeting coming up. Do you think that there's going to be nothing but good news for GameStop from that congressional meeting? Mind you, it's not about GameStop. The meetings aren't about GameStop doing something wrong. The meetings are all about small retail investors having the gall to try to make money on the markets rather than leaving it to the investment bankers, the guys with the private jets who know how to handle that kind of money. How dare small people like you try to get the notion that you can actually trade stock from home, make the kind of money to pay off your student debts? Who do you think you are? No. The debts are handled by the big investment banks, and those guys know how to handle the money for their private jets. How do you think you can buy and sell stock, make all kinds of money, pay off your mortgage, or get yourself a nice car, or go on a holiday, buy some new furniture? How dare you think like that? We got to have a congressional hearing and get to the bottom of this darn thing. Maybe we're going to have to make people who want to buy and sell 20 shares at a time take the securities course before they're allowed to buy and sell stock. So we ground those guys. We teach them a lesson, because after all the money in Wall Street should be made by the guys who run and control and corner and make the rules for Wall Street. I mean, come on. So let's have a congressional hearing. So expecting any good news from GameStop this week? Not from Congress. But again, it's not Wall Street's. It's not GameStop's fault that whatever happened. It's the fault of, I don't know, Robin Hood, the hedge funds who were short, like naked short all over the place, lost billions of dollars. Maybe it's their fault. Gee, I don't know if Congress will get to that, figure that out. Nobody beats the Wiz. Too soon? Oh my! Can you? Oh man, nobody listens. Do you like the movies about gladiators? Wally's word, laugh out loud, laugh out loud. You're fired. Wally, he didn't read our sticker. You're fired. Quarterly filing reports will tell us. Good boss, Bruce. Oh wow, just wow. Hey, thanks, Bruce. I didn't want to be here anyway, so woohoo. You're fired. Call it Bruce. Who they based George Clooney up on? Bruce is who they based George Clooney on in Up in the Air. That's right. I'm the George Clooney character in real life about Up in the Air. There you go. New reality TV show. Bruce is firing people. Bama, babe, I used to always say that a company does not fire people for underperformance. The worker fires themselves. Yeah, that can help. Oh my God, that's got to be awkward. Too much too soon. If termination is due to downsizing, if that is a totally different ballgame. That's true. That is true, right? That is absolutely right. Let's see here. It's not me, it's you. There you go. Getting fired by Uncle Bruce would suck. He's the kind of boss you want to do a good job for. Sounds like a very Canadian reaction to a firing. Oops, shipped it not on. Sometimes the job you have isn't the right fit for you, and you don't even know it yet. That's right. That's true. I would finish firing an employee, and by the time they left my office, they'd be all fired up. They'd be all fired up, and I'd throw them a couple ideas, and I'd say, you know where I think you could do really well. You could do really well in this business over here because you've got that personality for it. You've got the drive, and I know that you've always talked to me about this or this kind of business. That seems to turn you on. Maybe that's where you should be going because this here, it's a grind, man. It's a grind, and stocks go up and it's great, but when stocks go down, it's not a good day, and it gets to you. You as a broker just can't handle these kinds of days. And you probably are miserable when you have down days, and you're probably not, very fun person to hang around with your wife and kids. And we don't want this to affect your personal life. You need a gig where you're pumped up. And these people go, I never thought of that. I never thought of it that way because, and they're just kind of looking at me going, gee, thanks, Bruce. Thanks for kicking me out of my ass. But you know what? I think I got to get out there and make it happen. That's right. Take control of your life and make some good things going on. Anyway, Wally's World Weird. I'm back. American Bama, babe. This is a true 90% of the time. However, there's a 10% I would say that indeed people get fired for reasons they shouldn't have been fired for in the first place. Uncle Bruce used to hit his employees. No, it was Jen that would hit the employees. No, it's the Wiz. If Bruce fired me, I would cry. American, I was involved with a few during the personality conflict or power struggles. Wizard out. I'm worried about SoFi overvaluation. There's a lot of shares between units and warrants, and SoFi owners, even 15 times earnings, will only be $17 a share. Brent, this thing's going to trade at 50 times earnings. It's going to trade at 60 times earnings. The earnings are going to explode. Brent, hang on, buddy. Just notch your belt up a little bit because your pants might fly off. Hang on there. We're in for a show here. Best bet. Me too. I would cry also. Obama. Yeah, if I was let go from a Fortune 500 due to power struggles, Wazword, I'll have that. I'll have what you're having. American, just too volatile and too speculative for many holders. I'm stocked up on beers. Let's go. All right, SEC making funky statements about SPACs, warrants. They're making funky statements. It won't matter. The SPACs you have, you're gonna make less than money. Sorry, you're gonna make less. You can make lots of money. Sorry, you're gonna make lots of money. I had to fire someone that had previously been warned that if she broke the rules again, she was out. I walked into the room and she just said, "I know," and left quietly. I guess I have the face for it. Yeah, sometimes the employees know that they're done for. But what are you gonna do? Cup of grins. I called SoFi app for my GameStop proxy control number today. Was told I'm on margin. All accounts are on margin. That's how SoFi is set up with their clearinghouse Apex. Interesting. Today's sound peeling salami. Okay, I used to have a sign in my office that said, "Blend in or go hungry." The danger with that is sometimes you lose yourself. I guess. If not mistaken, Virgin's delaying its accounts because of that. Exactly right, Uncle Bruce. Oh well, I just need to, yeah, don't work there. Oh well, just need to wait. Bless you, Jen. I've had to fire people twice my age when I worked at a grocery store, and a lot of them were rough. I would imagine. Andrew mentioned on his show this morning that there were, I believe, 68 million worth of $300 puts placed on closing on Friday. Oh my gosh, $300 a share. Woohoo! Bless you, Jen. Jen. Gesundheit, Jen. You sneezed over there. She did. Observed. I said, haha, bless you too. Everyone's laughing out loud. The Chaz, if you turn your screen 90 degrees to the left, your stock charts always go up. Insider tip. See, now there you go. There's helpful tips right there. You don't get this stuff on other YouTube channels. You know, you search the YouTube all over, but you find this kind of advice. I dare you to find advice this good. You're not going to find it. 162.11. We're closed. We're closed. The market's going. Bang, 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 bang. The market's dead. The market's dead. 162.04. We're not going anywhere in GameStop here. 162.19 last trade. And that's all she wrote. Loss of $11.40 a share. And nothing going on today. That's what happened. The stock went down. They made a couple of announcements. And I guess the stock market was just not impressed with the fact that GameStop has about $1 billion cash in the bank and no debt. They're not impressed with that. This company is supposed to go under, and that's the end of it. Okay. Well, you know, sorry to disappoint. TD Ameritrade was able to provide the control number upon request. Freethinker, I'd like to thank Jen for raising such an admirable husband. Did she crate train? I don't know, what does that mean? Did she crate train? I don't know what that means. John Van, you think Jen spills when she drinks? Merkin, Colin Dangers, you deserve a medal for all the stuff you make, Bruce Reed. Oh my gosh. Wesley, what did Cinderella do when she got to the ball? Ashley, you're giving my channel a bad name. I'm trying to be PG rated here and invite women into the channel, and then you go doing that, Ashley. Oh God, Jordan. Do you know why I trust Bruce? Because of Jen. I trust her judgment more than my own. There you go. Oh dear, she's going, oh dear. Wally's World is your profile pick, Earth, Wind, and Fire album cover. Colin, lesser leather, never weathered better. Okay. Don't know, so I'll say yes. I guess pastel fishes. Very true, Colin. I got fired from Domino's when I was 18, and I'm glad for that. I could still be there. Oh man. Oh no! Not fired. Okay, never mind. Freethinker, create, train, laughing a lot. Nice haircut. Okay, Bruce's advice for my future career would be door-to-door magazine salesman because presenting as special needs is an asset. Oh gosh, you guys, I spit out my scotch. Thanks a lot. Do we need to worry about your home life? Laugh out loud. Rice is really great if you're hungry and want 2,000 of something. That's it there. Wally's World. I don't know. Don't fire me, Uncle Bruce. Please don't fire me. Oh no. Got my tetanus shot, so I'm taking myself out for ice cream. There you go. Oh no. Observe thyself. I'm not sure. He's just following orders from his wife's boyfriend. Ashley. People going, Ashley. Okay. What's coming up here now? Hang on a second. More comments here. Oh no. Not reading that. I'm not reading it. No. After high school, I once got fired from a job for being late a lot. Then hired back 2 months later for $1 an hour raise. Was never late again. Oh man, no. Got fired at 16, says Rabbit, for throwing an egg at a friend in a McDonald's freezer. He ducked. 3 hours later, after I scraped it off, I got canned. Wasn't surprised or upset. Got a better job 2 days later. There you go. American free thinker, McJones, you got to appease the wife's boyfriend because if you don't, you lose the crate. You don't want to lose the crate because then you're stuck behind Wendy's, Tendies, GameStop. I don't know what this means. What am I missing, Jen? Kazoo tight. I don't know what this means. That's why the Chaz gets paid big bucks. Okay, 162.20. Colin, that their tip to rotate the screen 90 to get left is a pro gamer move. Oh, okay. Larry, Bruce, you would be proud. I had to hang out in a Porta-John this morning to get GameStop at 160.21. Horrible location, but less shares, horrible hedges. Wally's World, you deserve that. Bruce, oh my, laughing out loud. Oh no, let's see here. Bruce, a crate train is what rich people do with puppies. Crate train is what rich people do with puppies. I still don't know what the heck this means. Ashley's getting she's getting rowdy over there. I think you're right. She's getting rowdy. That checks out in a major way. Crate training is how you train a dog. Okay. I still don't know what this all means. Oh dear, says Kevin. Ashley, people going, Ashley. Let's keep it clean, y'all. You're killing Bruce over here. Ashley, that's a Friday afternoon joke, during the libation hour. Dad, where's Mr. T and his tongue twisters when I need him? That's true. I haven't seen Mr. T in a while. I miss him. Wally's calling in the afternoon too, all day. Bruce, crate training is a method to teach puppies how they are expected to behave. Okay. Crate training. Oh my gosh. I like the way Ashley thinks so, John is saying. All right, I'll stick to dad jokes. Says Ashley. Prince Harry's holding the line. Bruce, ever play front hand, backhand? Don't remember. I don't know what that is. It's like oldie fans in here this day. I got my ice cream, so I'm going out for a tetanus shot. Oh, okay. Save the scotch. It can be recycled. Soak it up and wring it out in a piece of bread. Ducks love bread, but they lack the ability to buy a loaf. Uncle Bruce, did you know Confucius said, man with a hand in pocket feel, you know what, all day? Oh, no. Dying over here. Oh, gosh. You are the man. Just the comments. They are degrading very quickly in this chat. They are degrading very quickly. Where did the cows go on the first date? The movies. Oh, we were so just officially given permission to bad joke Fridays. Oh, no. I was fired at 18 as an assistant manager of a movie theater because I hosted a 2 a.m. showing of American Pie 2 before its premiere. Luckily, it was my last day, and I left for college the next day. So there you go. Good afternoon, all. Oh, my gosh. Not rich people, folks. We're working dogs, too. You want to hear a story about how I got fired? I got fired once. I actually got fired. It was the most unique way I've ever heard of being fired. But in effect, I was kind of fired, but it really worked out for me. So let me tell you the story. It was the year. The year was 1987, I think it was. Cheers, everybody. By the way, cheers to all of you. I think it was 1987. Let me think about this. Yeah, it was 1987. It was definitely 1987, and it was about June. Yeah, June of '87, halfway mark of the year. All right. So I was the branch manager and vice president for the province of Alberta in Canada for the brokerage firm that was headquartered in Toronto, and I had been already working for about a year on the side, maybe a year and a half on the side already with a buddy of mine to create a new company. And we were creating a company on the side that we were looking to become full-time employees of. And we eventually, this company, I eventually took public. I eventually took this private company public about 2 years later. But back in 87, I had all kinds of holiday time that I had racked up as a manager and a VP of the company. And I would take a week off, and then I'd come back for 2 or 3 weeks, and I'd take another week off. And what I was doing during the weeks off is my buddy and I were flying on planes down to Arizona. And we would go to Arizona, California, and we were signing up golf courses for these yardage guides that we were developing. We were printing these little booklets to help you navigate the golf course you're about to play, especially at these resort courses that you only play maybe once or twice. And you could take the booklet home with you after your round. Anyway, my buddy and I, we needed to go down south. We had to measure these golf courses. We had to get the designs done. We had to negotiate these deals. And so he and I would do this. And It was 1987 in June, and I was calling the office. I would call the office like every second day and just check in with my operations manager as to what's going on. And on this particular trip, which was like a week and a half long or something like that, I called him the one day, and he says, "Hey man, I gotta talk to you, but I can't talk to you here in the office. I've got to talk to you privately." So he says, "Hang on a second." So he transferred me within the office phone to my office, my own personal office, and he closed the door. He locked the door, so he was inside a little cubicle all by himself, and he would talk to me. And I'm calling him at the end of the day. Most people are gone. And he says, "I got to tell you what I hear. I'm hearing word on the street around here." I said, "Okay, what do you hear? What do you hear?" He says, "I'm hearing that they are looking to replace you, that you as a branch manager are going to be kicked out." And I said, "Oh, that's interesting." He says, "Yeah." He says, "The rumor has it there's a group of guys with a manager that are leaving a firm, and they're going to be brought into our firm, and you are going to be fired." I said, "Well, that's interesting, because I'm also not only the branch manager, I'm the vice president for the province. I hold the license for the firm in the province. They can't kick me out unless they've got a VP in the branch. Without a VP, they're toast." And he said, "Yeah, that's right. I don't know what they're going to do about that. That's kind of weird." I said, "Well, we'll see what happens." So anyway, I said, "Well, you keep me posted. There's nothing I can do about it. I mean, if the firm has got plans." So it turns out that in Toronto, in meantime, at head office, there was all kind of turmoil there, and they were facing financial issues, and they wanted to get the firm pumped up. And so what they were doing is they were trying to bring cash in by issuing stock from the treasury of the brokerage company, and they were approaching VPs and higher to see if they wanted to buy stock in the company. And a whole bunch of people in the company were buying stock in the company, putting money into the treasury of the company. And the company was raising millions of dollars doing this. And I was seriously considering buying into the company myself, but I hadn't yet committed. And then I thought to myself, no, I'm not going to buy into the company after all, because I'm going to leave the company. I had decided that I was going to leave the company and join my buddy, and we were going to take this little company to a level where we would be fully employed by it. And I was getting ready to leave the company and then take it public by way of private placements, selling stock to investors at seed level prices, and then eventually take the company public on the stock exchange with all the connections that I've made. And but I figured that was a year down the road. And I figured I would be with this brokerage firm for another year or so, and then I'd make my move. But now I'm hearing the rumors that they're making moves in Toronto. And then I'm talking to my buddy who's a branch manager in Vancouver, and I'm asking him what's going on. And he says, "I'm hearing all kinds of rumors, man. Toronto's in trouble." He says, "We're hearing Toronto's in trouble." I said, "Toronto's in trouble? What's going on there?" He says, "I don't know what it is, but they're raising money all over the place, and they're making all kinds of moves. And the Montreal guys are buying a bigger chunk of the whole corporation, and they want more control about what's going to happen." And he said, "I don't know what's going on, but they're hitting us up out here for stock if we want to buy into the company. And yeah, that's kind of weird." I said, "Well, that's interesting," but he didn't know that I was thinking of leaving the firm. So I finished my road trip, and as a matter of fact, I'm finishing my road trip, and it was the day before I'm coming back to Calgary. And I talked to Jennifer, and Jennifer says, "You've got to call your operations manager. He's got news for you." So he's looking for you. So I call the operations manager, and he says, "I just got the call. They want you in Toronto. They want you in Toronto as soon as humanly possible." I said, "Oh, okay. That's interesting." I said, "I get back tomorrow, Wednesday. I get back." He says, they want you in Toronto Thursday, like right away. He says, "I have booked for you airplane ticket. I have booked for you a first class airplane ticket from Calgary to Toronto on Thursday morning. And I've booked for you a return ticket back to Calgary on Thursday evening, like that same day. You're doing a round trip to Toronto and back, 3 hours, 15 minutes each way in first class. They've given me the authority to go ahead and book it for you." And I've done it. I said, "Okay." So I had to, I got to Calgary late in the evening, like 9 in the evening on the Wednesday. And by something like by midnight or 1 a.m, I had to catch this red eye to Toronto. And going from the west to the east, of course, you're losing time because the east is ahead of us. So I got to Toronto at like 9 a.m. And so I got from the airport, came to the office, and I had a meeting with the vice president in charge of all the branch managers of the firm. And it was odd because I got to the lobby of the head office, and the receptionist told her who I was, and I was here to see so-and-so. She said, no problem, please have a seat over here. And normally when I would come in, there would be like 4 or 5 guys coming to see me, say hi to me. I'd get greeted by the operations manager in Toronto because I reported to that person as a manager. I would get greeted by some of the VPs up there. I'd get greeted by the trade desk guys. I get all kinds of people who knew me. Nobody came out. I was in the head office in the lobby all by myself, and nobody came out to see me. And then the receptionist got a call, and she, yeah, okay, one moment. And she said, oh, please follow me, please. And she escorted me through this door into a hallway and into the office of the senior vice president that was my boss, in charge of all the branch managers. And, oh, hi, Bruce. Thanks for flying in to see me. I really appreciate you. Come on in. Have a seat. Let's have a chat. I said, sure. Yeah. What do you want to talk about? I'm playing dumb, like I know nothing. And what do you want to talk about? He says, well, listen, man, we got a couple of things going on here, and we got some really exciting things happening, but we got to make a couple of adjustments, and I'm going to need your help. I said, well, how can I help you? So he says to me, we got a bunch of guys coming into the branch, and they're bringing in all kinds of business, all kinds of deals. And the deal though is that for us to bring all this business in, millions of dollars of commission business, I need you to step aside as branch manager and just be the vice president of the company for the firm. I need you to be the vice president of the company. And we need the new guy to take it over. He says, and we'll give you a raise. We'll give you. I think the deal was that I used to get a couple of $1,000 a month to show up, and I would get commissions and overrides. And they said, we'll give you $5,000 a month for 6 months, guaranteed, starting right now, just to make this shift over. And you work with your clientele and keep doing what you're doing, and we'll bring this guy in with his buddies, and the branch will grow by like 10 people instantly, and away we go. I said, oh, whatever you want. You're the boss. Whatever. I'm thinking to myself, this is perfect. 6 months. I get $5,000 a month for 6 months. This is 1988. $5,000 a month is like $10,000 a month today. To do nothing. I get to just be there and do nothing. And I thought, I'm going to take the rest of my holidays in the next 6 months. I got like 5-6 more weeks of holiday time. I'm going to bag off and do more of these trips down south and develop this company like crazy with my partner. So we shake hands. I said, whatever you like. I'll agree with you, and I'll work with you any way you want. Oh, they were relieved that I didn't put up a squat. So I walked out of the office and grabbed a cab and went to the airport, grabbed my plane and flew home first class. So I get back late in the evening. I'm back in Calgary and finally see Jennifer after being away for a week and a half, 2 weeks, and just getting kind of fired. So I kind of got fired, but here's what's happening. I got this big fat raise to not leave and just kind of stay over here as a bro. She said, what are you going to do? I said, well, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to give the branch manager job to this new guy. He can have all this stuff, and I'll just sit over here and collect my money. And my thinking is I'll just take the $5,000 a month, and at the end of the 6 month, I'll walk out. I'll just say goodbye because that's the end of the deal. And then I'll be full-time with this guy over here, my buddy, and we'll take the company to the next level because now I know exactly when we will start to raise money on private placements to raise cash to fund this little corporation. I know exactly when this is going to happen because I know exactly when I'm going to leave. So that's how this came down. So the next 6 months, I just went through the motions of being there, and all my brokers, all the guys I hired were looking at me going, what's going to happen? Well, there's this new guy and I don't like this guy. He's not like you. I'm going, yeah, I know he's not like me. He's got all these deals, these so-called hot oil and gas deals he's bringing in the door, and they're all garbage and they're all crap. These are all deals nobody else wants. And these are deals. These guys were at another brokerage firm and they were told, they basically quit en masse and walked out in one day. And came over here because they weren't allowed to do their deals with the other house. They didn't want anything to do with it. But our firm is so desperate for business, they took these guys lock, stock, and barrel with the deals they had without any due diligence. And now you brokers are going to be forced to they're going to try to force you guys to sell this stuff to your clients. Good luck with that. Do you miss me now? Do you miss me now? Because not all my brokers were always happy with me because I had to, be the tough guy sometimes. But for me, I was a perfect exit strategy. I sat back for 6 months, collected my money, took my 5-6 weeks holiday to, week here, 2 weeks here, 2 weeks here. The new manager didn't mind. He didn't care if I was coming or going because I was not interfering with his world. He was a happy guy. And my partner was going, wow, you got all this time to work on this project with me. This is great. I said, yep, I'll be full-time January 1 with you. January 1, I'll be full-time with you on this deal. And we will fund this company in the first 6 months of the new year. I'll be going to all my clients to raise money, to raise cash here. We'll go to all our friends and relatives and everything else because we're going public. And that's how it all came down. It went down over the next 6 months. By the summer of the next year, like a year after I got, quote, fired, we had funded this new little company with about $300,000-$400,000, which again in 1988 was like $1 million today, and we were drawing a salary and we were paying our expenses and we were building out this little publishing company, and we ended up taking it public about a year or so after that. We got it done and raised about $1 million at that time, which today would be about $3-4 million. Small deal, but that's the way it was in Alberta in those days, not like today. And we were able to raise enough cash to get a company up and going. And that went through 88, 89, and 90. And we created these yardage guides all over Southwest US. And we were planning to go national. And we had made a deal with Time Warner at that time. Well, not Time Warner, it was Time Magazine Company. Time Magazine Company owned many publications. They produced a lot of magazines, and one of them was Golf Magazine. They produced Golf Magazine, and I contacted the publisher of Golf Magazine, the VP. He's a VP of Time Incorporated, of the whole thing, and explained to him that I thought it might be a good idea to merge his magazine and our little magazine into one unit, where you guys produce the magazine that everyone gets every month, the 1.5 million subscribers you have around the world, and we would produce millions of yardage guides that would be known as the Golf Magazine Yardage Guide for this resort, this resort, this resort. And the resorts that would get these yardage guides would all be part of the top 100 best resort golf courses as rated by Golf Magazine. So Golf Magazine would rate your golf course in the top 100, especially if you were advertising your golf course in their magazine. You would be magically, you would appear in the top 100. You'd be one of the top 100 golf resorts. And you would then qualify for a Golf Magazine Yardage Guide, which we would produce. They would put their name on it, and Golf Magazine would sell the advertising inside the Yardage Guide. And the advertising would be sold to the Titleists and the Wilsons and the Pro Staffs and the Mizuno and all the Yamaha all the manufacturers of golf clubs, golf balls, gloves, golf shoes, FootJoy, all the golf guys. There were 20-odd pages of advertising available. Golf Magazine said, oh yeah, we'll sell these pages to our top advertisers, of course. Yeah, they'll do anything we tell them to do. And we would work a deal on the advertising splits. And that was how we put together a deal. So this little tiny public company on the Alberta Stock Exchange, $1 a share, made a deal with Time Incorporated, listed on the New York Stock Exchange, billion-dollar-plus monster company. We made a deal to provide them with our yardage guides and put their name on it, and everybody was happy. That's how that deal came together. and I had to leave the brokerage business to do that deal, and I was excited about it. I thought this is going to be fabulous. My buddy and I, we're going to have to travel to all of these 100 golf resorts. Because we have to be on property to interview the directors of golf and the pros and get all the playing tips for all the golf holes. Some of these guys had 36 golf hole resorts. Some had 18. We had to produce yardage guides for all those properties. We had to measure them all out. We had to get all of the artistry work done and everything else, which we had someone to do for them. And I said to my buddy, hey man, there's at least 8 properties in Hawaii. We got to go there like several times in the middle of the winter to measure those. Yeah, we got to go to Florida. We've got to go to Puerto Rico. We've got to go to all the states in the U.S. Then in the summertime, we have to travel to New York State, Illinois, to Denver, like to Colorado, to Washington State. We have to travel all over the United States to measure out the top 100 golf courses. It's going to take us 2 years. It's going to take a long time to get up to the 100. But by the time we get it done, we just now maintain the yardage guides, and certain golf courses will have changes made every year or so, or 2 years. We'll fly to the properties, visit with them, and do the changes. And of course, we take our golf clubs with us when we travel, and we're offered free rounds of golf at all of these high-end resorts for nothing. And I thought, oh, this is going to be great. We're going to work this deal with these guys. We're going to end up producing something like, something like 4 million or 40 million. It was going to be a huge number of resorts. It was 40 million guides. It was going to be a huge number of guides. We would produce yardage guides in the winter time, like in the spring, early part of spring. The summer courses would get their deliveries, and in the late fall, the winter, the southern resorts would get all their supply. So we were publishing year round. That would be a 12-month production schedule, and everyone would get the yardage guides at certain times of the year, and we'd be splitting this revenue from Golf Magazine. Of course, Golf Magazine was motivated to sell the back cover for $100,000 a year. We could also dictate with them. They could say, we only want the back cover for Titleist on 20 of the guides. And on the other 80 courses, we're going to divvy that up with Wilson and Pro Staff. Each of them are going to get maybe a fifth of all the magazines. They're going to pay top dollar for that back cover. That's coveted ground. The inside back cover, the inside front cover, we're going to get top dollar for these spots. And this is where my buddy and I and our little company would make just a fortune, because we have 40 million magazines of ours going out there making all this dough, and we don't have to hire anyone for advertising, no one for the design of the ads, no one to negotiate the ad rates, no one to sell the ads, no one. We were just printers, and we were taking a cut of the action because we produced the piece, and the Golf Magazine produced or generated the revenue. And we charged the golf courses about 25 cents a copy for the booklet. They all would pay it, because this is part of the being part of the 100 Club. And this is part of the promotion that they were being part of. They were all in, all in. It was all going to be gorgeous. Except for one little problem. There was this little tiny thing. It was kind of like on that movie, where there's that red thing, the green thing, and then that red thingy is coming towards the green thingy, and we think we're the green thingy, and this nasty red thingy is coming at high speed to the green. That's what we had in front of us within about 4 or 5 months of this deal being nailed down. We saw this red thingy coming to the green thingy, and what it was a combination of things that happened. But the first thing that happened, the first really bad thing that happened was there was a financial blow-up in the United States. It was the first of what would become several financial crises that the United States would face. And this one was the 1990 savings and loan blow-up, where all kinds of real estate in Arizona, California, Florida, the Carolinas, Georgia, Hawaii, all kinds of resort properties that were heavily leveraged and financed with golf course properties. A lot of the properties down in the States where the plan was to build a resort hotel with a 36-hole, two golf course thing around it. And then we're going to sell timeshares all around the property, the golf course thing. This entire thing would have been financed by investors and borrowings from savings and loans. And the savings and loans out there went nuts and over leveraged themselves into all of these high-end speculative, very leveraged, over leveraged properties. And what we found was that within a few months of making our deal, we found that out of the 100 top golf resorts that were ranked by Golf Magazine, we found that about 60 to 70 of them were all in the last 3 years created. They were all brand new, and they were all heavily financed by savings and loans. And the savings and loans crisis came in, and real estate markets crashed for a while, and all of these properties became insolvent within like 90 days. Within 90 days, they were all bankrupt. And what I found was I would contact the golf resort where last month I talked to the director of golf and to the golf director and then to the pro. And now I'm just talking to the golf pro. And the director of golf has been laid off. The marketing department laid off. They're all furloughed. They're all gone because they went bankrupt. And I'm now dealing with the golf pro who's being hired on a contract basis. And I'd find out that 3 months ago, the guy was on a personal services contract for $100,000 a year to run his pro shop and everything else. And now he's being paid $100 a day under contract to work for the receiver. He's getting $100 a day, $500 a week, $25,000 a year, and he's glad to have the job because he's still working at the golf course that he was dreaming of great things to happen. And what he was hoping for was that the receiver would eventually sell this property to somebody else, and then that person would then hire a marketing team and a director of golf, and he would get a contract, and he'd be able to keep his job. Anyway, I would call him up and say, hey, what's the deal with the yardage guide that we're going to do for Golf Magazine? He says, I'm not allowed to spend any money. He says, we have no scorecards left. We ran out of scorecards. We're now photocopying the last scorecard we had, and we're using it as our scorecard. We're handing out photocopies of the scorecard to our guests who are playing golf for $20 a round because we're in receivership. We used to charge $120 a round. We're charging $20 a round just to get people to come out here because everything's shut down. And we're just trying to keep the water running to keep the grass from dying, because if we shut the water off, everything turns brown and dies, and then we lose an $8 million golf course or a $12 million golf course. And so no yardage guides. And so this just kept going on and on and on, and it went downhill and downhill and downhill. And we found that within about 60 to 90 days, we'd be talking to our friends in New York, and they'd be talking to us, and we'd be going, we're losing all our customers. They were losing advertisers who weren't promoting the resorts anymore. And we were losing resorts that didn't want a yardage guide anymore. And then the second thing happened, and that was the first Gulf War took place when Iraq invaded Kuwait, and George Bush, the father, told Saddam Hussein, get out of Kuwait, get out, and he wouldn't do it. And the United States kept saying, we're going to put allies together, and we're going to kick you out of there. And then, of course, the word came out to scare everybody into submission. All these terrorist groups said, you go into Kuwait and you go after these, you fight Muslims, you're going to have bombs on every airplane in America instantly. And every airplane will be blown out of the sky by suicide bombers. And of course, that shut down the tourist business that year. And so nobody went to these resorts, even though you could golf for $20 a round. Nobody went, nobody came down there. And we talked to our New York friends again, and we said, we tried. We're good guys here in Calgary. You're good guys in New York. Unfortunately, all of our clients are dead in the water. We're going into a full-blown recession here in the tourist business, and the United States is going to war in the Middle East, and we have no idea what's going to happen. And so, our deal fell apart, and we agreed to just part company, and nobody held anyone liable for anything for failure to complete a contract. We just agreed that we did the best we could, and it all worked out. Didn't work out, and unfortunately, that didn't help my shareholders very much with regard to my public company. But anyway, that's how I got fired. That's just to kind of go here, give you the big picture. I ended up once getting fired, but I got this juicy deal to stick around for 6 months, and then I was leaving anyway, so it all worked out. And the irony of ironies of it all, when it was all said and done, I left the firm at the end of the year. I cashed my last paycheck at the end of the year, and I was gone. And Jennifer was still working for that company as a broker. And the plan was for I and my friend who were taking our company public, the game plan was that Jennifer would still be a stockbroker, and that she would work at that firm, and then we would use her as our main brokerage connection to go forward with. But Jennifer was now approaching 6 months, 7 months of pregnancy. And the little Jen was our little surprise. Little surprise. We have a surprise, and we knew it was coming. And so when I left the firm, we figured Jen's days were numbered. What we didn't realize was within about a week and a half to 2 weeks after I left the firm, Jennifer came to work one morning, and there was a padlock on the door, and the entire company had been shut down by receivers across Canada. The whole firm had gone under, and the rumors of the firm's need for capital now became a reality. The firm was undercapitalized, and we didn't know what had happened. We couldn't figure out what it was. And within about a week, we've heard the word that the top guys, the guys in Toronto, the big boys, the top boys in Toronto, they were bond traders. They were from the bond department. That's where they made their money. And about 5 or 6 of them were using house money. They were using house money and house collateral, I guess is the way to say it. They were using the collateral of the brokerage firm to buy and sell bonds and speculate on bonds in the market in their personal accounts. And they were betting incorrectly. They were making the wrong bets, and they ended up losing millions of dollars. And it turns out, it took a year to figure this one out. It took another year, because at first I could not understand why would they not want me as manager. I couldn't figure I'd done nothing wrong. It turns out that the year prior, the year before I got asked to come to Toronto and do that, they had started losing money in the marketplace, and they were down millions. And they were now cooking the books to hide their losses. And they were somehow managing to cook the books every quarter just enough so that they would never be uncovered. And they were leveraged all over the place. And they survived a full-blown audit at the end of 1 year. And they were coming up to a second full-blown audit. Again, the annual audit has to be done, and the regulators have to sign off on it. The exchanges have to sign off on it. Anyway, the second time around, they weren't able to hide it because now the losses were something in the $35 million range. It was just getting worse and worse and worse. And as these guys were it was getting worse and worse, they started to try to find ways to bring more money in. So they were offering stock to employees to invest into the company. And they were trying to build up the reserves of the company to help shelter these losses and keep them buried. So they were looking for the trade that would turn it all around. They figured they were only one trade away from getting out from under it. They never found the answer. And then it came back to me where I got the call from a buddy of mine who said, "Now you know why you were asked to step aside. These other guys that they brought in, those guys were basically about to be fired en masse at this other brokerage firm, and they reached out to your brokerage firm, which was desperate for any kind of business, any kind of instant hit, home run, anything. And these guys were such scumbags at this other house that they were promising the moon to your managers in Toronto, to your VPs over there. And they were promising that they had $5 million in commissions just ready to be made the minute they got into that house. It would only take a couple of months to settle in, and they would close all these deals. And the guys in Toronto were so desperate for business. They were so desperate for fresh cash that they took the bait, and they bought me off by sending me off to the side. Cost them $30,000 at the time to have me sit over here, and they brought this guy in instead. And unfortunately for the firm, it didn't pan out. None of the deals that these guys brought in ever worked out. They didn't make any money because none of our existing salespeople would touch any of their deals with a 10-foot cattle prod. And so they were unable to close any of these $1 million commission deals that they were sitting on that they thought they had in the palm of their hands. I knew that the deals wouldn't fly. My operations manager knew these deals aren't going to fly. They're a bag of garbage. And all my brokerage guys are looking at me going, I don't think I want to buy this stuff. I don't want to put any of my clients' money into these deals. And so it all came crashing down when even this desperado move that they made 6 months before they ultimately collapsed never paid off. They tried everything to stave off elimination. Didn't work. 5 years later, the court case was held finally, and these top guys were in court for embezzlement and fraud and everything else. And a number of them got fines, and the top 3 were given jail time. And one guy got a year, one guy got 3 years, and the top guy got 5. But with good behavior, they all got out in like a quarter of the time because it was just white collar crime. But they lost everything. They lost everything. They lost their houses, their cars, their toys. They were banned from the business forever. They were out. It was an amazing story that took years to determine just what had gone on, because I could not figure out, why would you fly me out first class to Toronto to kind of fire me and have me do this and then fly me back? And they were happy I didn't quit. I now know why. They needed the license holder, because otherwise they would have had to have flown someone out from Toronto to transfer them immediately to Calgary to hold the license for them over there. They didn't want to do that. They wanted to keep people close to home. And they wanted to keep this as quiet as possible, because no one in the rest of the firm knew what was going on. Everyone was clueless what was happening, because only the top 5 guys were in charge of the bank accounts and the transfers and all the other stuff. And so it all came out eventually in the wash. And it was one of those things where I sat back and go, so it wasn't me. I wasn't the problem at all. It was them. They were the problem. But for a while there, a lot of people were kind of looking at me going, well, you sure screwed up because they dumped your sorry butt, didn't you? And I kind of went, I have no idea what's going on. All I can tell you is I got this gig going over here and I'm doing my gig. And we did that until 1990, 91. And, it did what it did in the end anyway. But fascinating, just a fascinating turn of events, and how it all came together at the end when it was all said and done. And it all turns out that, oh my God, what a disaster. My manager buddy in Vancouver, I ended up talking to him. I would talk to him every once in a while. And he told me about a year later, he said, you're the luckiest guy in the entire organization. You're the winner. You are the biggest winner of all, because number 1, you didn't have any stock in the company. Number 2, you had no bonus money that was ever owed to you at the end of the year. You got your $5,000 a month for every month. You walked out the door with all your money intact. You were never at risk. He said everybody else who stuck around and stayed there and didn't know that the next week or 2 after you left, it was all over. None of us knew that we would be locked out. He said, I personally lost $27,000. He said, they owe me 27 grand in business I've done, and I'll never get it because the company is bankrupt. He said, the guys in Montreal are out millions of dollars. They put in $5 million of their own money. They borrowed money from banks on their houses, mortgages, second mortgages, to invest in the company. They threw all kinds of money in the last year. They did all that. That's all gone. That's all pissed away. They've lost $1 zillion. They're all looking for jobs. And on their resume is the firm that they were partners in. And it doesn't look good. He said, you're the lucky one. You're the absolute, you won on this deal. And I said, I didn't feel like I was winning. I didn't feel like it on that plane ride back and forth, but in the end, it all worked out. For me, it all worked out kind of like a Forrest Gump scenario. It just kind of fell through the cracks and it all filtered out. And that's how that deal went down. Unbelievable story. Back in 1987, 88, And then by 89, 90, by 91, 92, I think the guy was in jail in 94 or 95. It took 6 or 7 years to put him in jail. A long time before he got convicted. He appealed it. Oh gosh, it went longer. I think he went until 98 or 99. It might have gone a decade. And then he finally had to report to jail. And I think the top guy served a year and a half or a year and a quarter. And then he was out on parole, and then he was out on full parole. Oh my gosh. Yeah, unbelievable stories. What can I say? It just happens, and it's just the way it is. Anyway, there you go, guys. There's a little story for you. Hope you don't mind that one. And like I say, it's just one of those deals. Jen was a broker. Yes, she was. Yes, she was a broker too. Yeah, we're both ex-brokers. Very interesting. Yeah, Jen was a desk trader, and then she became a stockbroker. That's right. I never knew that. Yeah, awesome. Amazing times, and another chapter in the book, but it took a decade to write. It took a decade to get to the bottom of the story, because for years I was always wondering, what did I do wrong that they would want to do that, where they'd want to. I took a branch office with 2 brokers when I inherited it. And when I got asked to step aside, we had 25 stockbrokers. Well, what have I done wrong? Did I grow too quickly? Were we not growing fast enough? Like, what was the deal? And then they brought these people back, and I thought, oh my gosh, what can I say? Yeah, that's how it is. Throwing good money after bed, never a good idea. Yeah, horrifying. It's quite the story. It was quite the story. And I'll tell you, man, it was really something how it all worked out. Anyway, there you go. Guys, thank you for being here today. Those of you who stuck around this long, it's fantastic. Still 1,000 of you here. Thank you for the story, Bruce. Another good one. Thank you for sharing. This stuff happens every damn day. It does. It really does. What I found is in January and in February of '88 was the Winter Olympics. And Jennifer and I had tickets to every hockey game. It wasn't until April that Jennifer Jr. showed up, which was expected. So here we were in February, Jennifer and I was no longer employed. I didn't have a job at this brokerage company, and neither did Jen. So we had all this time on our hands. And so we were both being paid now by the company that I had funded up, this new company that my partner and I put together. I was raising money at the same time. So we were funded, we were being paid to run the company, and we now had the time to enjoy the Olympics. And it was 16 days of utter fun. And we enjoyed the Olympics that we would never have been able to enjoy the Olympics like we did had we been full-time in the brokerage game. There was no way. And so this was actually a godsend. And then the funny thing was that after the Olympics were over, even before the Olympics, but after the Olympics, there would be, I'd have to go down south to go back down to Arizona and do some yardage work. And my partner and I had to go to Orlando to do the golf show. So there was one year where Jennifer and I went down to California. We did the golf show, the West Coast golf show together. We were now traveling. We were now traveling to the United States in the winter down south as part of our job. I mean, we timed our trip that in the summertime we didn't travel, and in the wintertime we did. We were paid to do it, and we didn't have to pay for the flights. It was all covered by the company as we went along and grew the company out. It was an amazing time. And my first trip ever to New York City was paid for by my company when we went to visit the bosses at Time Incorporated. We had to fly to see Time. And so my partner and I flew down and did a 4-day trip to New York. And we had 2 days of business and 2 days of pleasure. Flew in. I saw New York for the very first time in person in 1988. It would have been 88 or 89. And it was a lot different then than it is now. Let me tell you that. Times Square was not as nice as it is now. Nowhere near as nice. It was still pretty ratty.
Yeah, Elmo hadn't shown up yet.
Yeah, there were still days to come. So we had to go to New York twice in about 5 months to nail down this deal. And so we did that. I didn't mind going to New York twice at all. I loved it. And that got, that showed me New York in real life. It was fabulous. I loved it. And then in future years, Jennifer and I traveled to New York on our own later. But that was another little side, another little perk of the job. We decided where we traveled. We ran the company. We owned it. We could go wherever we needed to go, or whatever business we had to do. And we were planning to go to Chicago to add up to bring a couple of courses online there. There were new golf courses being built with these new casinos that were being developed in the United States. These casinos on Indian land, fancy dancy resorts with the golf course, all that. We were going to see it all, and we were going to arrange it that we would take our wives with us to do these trips, and we would do like a 1 week business trip, and we'd hit up maybe 2 golf courses in the region, and our wives would stay at a resort for the week. We'd get a super discounted rate because we were friends of the resort through the yardage guides. Oh, we had it all figured out. Hawaii was in our sights, big time in our sights to take advantage, but it never came to pass. Unfortunately, it's just unfortunate. It just didn't happen. What can I say? We did the best we could with what we could. Anyway, there you have it. Anyway, those were the 80s. Nowadays, no yardage guides exist anywhere because golf carts today have these screens hanging down from their roofs, and those are yardage indicators right on your golf cart, and you can see the hole that you're on, and you can see the goal. You see the green up there, and you see the green up there, and you see the bunker over there, and the bunker's over there. Oh, where my golf ball is, it's 168 yards to the center of the green. It's all electronic. It's all satellite GPS. We would be out of business anyway. It was just we'd have probably lasted 10. We'd have had 10 good years. We would have had 10 good years with these guys. But it is what it is. It was what it was, and what can I say? We have to move on from there. Anyway, there you have it. Aftermarket for GameStop, nothing going on. 162.18. There's no movement on the stock. It's very quiet. And you're up to speed on what's happening. You've just been brought up to speed with what's going on and what happened way back when. So those of you who've ever been fired, hopefully it worked out for you. That's the only time I can recall I've been fired. I was let go once by a newspaper in Toronto, the Globe and Mail, during college, my first year of college. I was working with this newspaper where I was making phone calls in the evening to try to sell subscriptions. That's a thankless job, let me tell you. I lasted about 3 weeks, and then they fired all of us. Because I think what they did was they had a campaign for about 4 weeks or 6 weeks, and then they dropped the whole thing, and we were all kind of let go. I didn't mind one bit. It was quite all right. And the next year, in my second year, my third year, I was commuting more now. I had wheels, and I could commute, and I didn't have to stay in Toronto for the whole week and do this kind of stuff. But that was way back when. What can I say? Way back when. You missed a jump to 166 for a brief moment. Oh, I see that little spike. Yeah, it didn't last long, did it? Didn't last long. Came and went. 162 in the aftermarket. Nothing much going on, unfortunately. Very quiet. Anyway, there you have it. So, folks, there you go. Another day in paradise. Thank you, all of you, for being here today. Thank you for those of you who were kind enough to give us a thumbs ups today on the early show or on this afternoon show. I appreciate that. We have 641 thumbs ups right here. I appreciate that. If you can spare one right now, that would be terrific. Help the channel out and give us a little more momentum. That would be great. Thank you, all of you. Also to Scott Coleman. Thank you, Scott Coleman, for your donation today on PayPal. Love to you and Jen. Happy Monday. Thank you so much, Scott. That is so kind of you. As always, you're just the best. Thank you, and thank you again. All of you out there who are leaving messages and saying hi to us, we appreciate it. We really love being with you. And like I say, we're trying to follow the markets as best we can. Bill Gates and Melinda Gates are splitting up after 27 years, says the headline. That's too bad, but it is happening. It's the way it is, I guess. They are splitting after 27 years. Oh, my. Bill Gates says, after a great deal of thought and a lot of work on our relationship, we have made the decision to end our marriage. Over the last 27 years, we've raised 3 incredible children and built a foundation that works all over the world to enable all people to lead healthy, productive lives. We continue to share a belief in that mission and will continue to work together at the foundation, but we no longer believe we can grow together as a couple in this next phase of our lives. We ask for space and privacy for our family as we begin to navigate this new life. Melinda and Bill Gates. And well, all the best to the two of them. They're doing so much good for the world. I have no complaints. And you know what? I cut you all the slack you want. Absolutely correct. Anyway, there you have it. On latest news there. Maybe not stock related, but it is news. And well, what are you going to do? Life goes on and things happen. Time changes. Anyway, there you go. Thank you, everybody, for enjoying the story. I hope you liked it. Thanks for liking it. Thanks for hanging out with me. Hang in there. What can we say? And we'll see what happens tomorrow. We'll be around tomorrow, 1 hour before the opening of the market. Bill and Melinda Gates are toast, but Bruce and Jen continue on. How long has it been, Jen? How long have we been together now?
76.
76? Oh my
45.
God, 24 and 21, 45 years. We've been hanging out, still hanging out together. Unbelievable. I'll tell you, it's incredible how I've healed all those years. It's incredible. Truly good. What can I say? There you have it. Anyway, thank you everybody so much for being here. And, what can I say? Folks, I'm going to end the show here and say my good nights. I'll catch you tomorrow. If you want to catch me later tonight, hang out to TWB. We'll be on at 7 o'clock for sponsor members, 8 o'clock on the big show. You're all welcome to join us at 8 o'clock for stock market, not stock market news, for cruise ship news and traveling news. We'll be there. Thank you for being with me today. Have a wonderful evening. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll catch you tomorrow morning, and we'll talk to you later. Bye for now.